Welcome to our deep dive on H-1B re-entry and travel scrutiny. In this video, we will separate myth from reality, explain what Customs and Border Protection actually looks for, and give you a step-by-step plan to prepare. As we move forward, we will also cover common scenarios, risk signals, and what to do if you are sent to secondary inspection. Let's begin by outlining what we'll cover today. Here is the agenda for today's session. First, we will set context for why re-entry scrutiny exists. Next, we will quickly review H-1B fundamentals you must know at the border. Then, we will walk through what to expect at re-entry and the documents you should carry. After that, we will look at common scenarios and outcomes, risk signals CBP may focus on, and a step-by-step walkthrough of the port of entry process. Finally, we will test your knowledge with quick quizzes and end with key takeaways and an action plan. Before we proceed, an important disclaimer. This video provides general educational information and is not legal advice. Individual circumstances vary widely, and immigration outcomes depend on specific facts. Therefore, consult a qualified immigration attorney for advice tailored to your situation. With that in mind, let's move into the context behind current scrutiny. Let's set the context. CBP's mandate is to verify that all entrants are admissible. For H-1B travelers, that means checking that your employment, job location, and petition details still match the terms of your approved H-1B. Worksite changes, employer changes, and material role changes draw attention. Increased data sharing among agencies and electronic I-94 systems make consistency checks more rigorous. Now, to prepare for this, let's revisit essential H-1B basics. Here are the essentials. First, H-1B is a dual intent status, which means it is compatible with a pending green card. Second, your visa and your status are not the same. The visa lets you travel to the United States. Status is granted upon admission and is evidenced by your I-94 record. Third, you generally need a valid I-797 approval, a valid H-1B visa stamp, and ongoing qualifying employment to re-enter. Fourth, the I-94, not the visa foil, controls how long you are authorized to stay. Fifth, your worksite and role must align with your certified labor condition application and the underlying petition. Finally, employer changes require proper approvals or portability eligibility. With these fundamentals in mind, let's discuss what actually happens at re-entry. At re-entry, you will first go through primary inspection, where an officer will ask brief questions and take biometrics. Next, some travelers are referred to secondary inspection for a closer review of documents, employment, and petition consistency. Meanwhile, CBP systems check your petition details, prior travel and I-94 history, and security flags. The outcome can be admission in H-1B status, parole in rare cases, deferred inspection, or refusal of admission in serious mismatches. After you are admitted, verify your new I-94 record before leaving the airport to ensure the class and expiration are correct. Now, to visualize how decisions flow, let's look at a decision tree. This flowchart starts when the traveler arrives at the port of entry. The first checks are whether the visa stamp and the I-797 approval are valid. It then verifies if the employer and role match the petition and whether the worksite matches the LCA. Any negative answer routes to secondary inspection for deeper review. From secondary, possible outcomes include admission in H-1B status, a request for additional evidence with a loop back to secondary after review, deferred inspection to resolve an issue later, rare parole, or refusal of admission when inconsistencies are serious. These steps. If admitted, the process ends with an I-94 being issued, and the traveler should verify it online. Prepare a complete, organized document set. Bring your passport with a valid H-1B visa stamp, your I-797 approval notice, and a recent employment verification letter. If you work at a client site, include a client letter or confirmation. Carry your latest pay stubs for the past 2 to 3 months, a copy of the LCA with confirmation of the current worksite address, an updated resume and job description, and a printout of your I-94 travel history. Also include your travel itinerary and return ticket, and contact details for your employer's HAR or immigration counsel. Next, we will review how these documents play into common scenarios. This table covers frequent real-world situations. If your visa and I-797 are valid and your employment details are unchanged, Admission in H-1B status is typical. If your visa is expired and you are abroad, you generally need a new visa stamp before returning. With a change of employer, admission is possible if you have a valid new I-797 and meet portability requirements. Carry evidence. If an extension is pending and you travel, you risk inconsistencies at the border even with a valid visa. Consider avoiding travel until approval. If your worksite changed, bring the amendment approval or receipt and the updated LCA. Secondary inspection is possible, but admission often follows if documentation matches. If you are laid off or benched and do not have ongoing employment, H-1B reentry is generally not possible. This comparison highlights that H-1B is a dual intent status, so a pending green card does not by itself prevent reentry. Nevertheless, CBP focuses on whether your job, employer, role, and worksite match the petition. By contrast, F1 or B2 require non-immigrant intent, meaning applicants must demonstrate strong ties abroad and a temporary purpose. Understanding this difference clarifies why H-1B reentry questions center on employment validity rather than immigrant intent. CBP may increase scrutiny when there are several employer changes without clear portability documentation, unclear or changing worksites that do not align with the LCA, or missing and outdated client letters in third-party placements. Prior status violations or wage issues can trigger deeper questions. Inconsistent answers compared to petition details are a red flag. Finally, travel while an extension or amendment is pending can lead to additional verification. Next, let's practice with a quick knowledge check. Quiz time. Which document ultimately controls how long you are authorized to stay in the United States after admission? Option A, the visa stamp. Option B, the I-94 record issued upon entry. Option C, your I-797 approval notice. Option D, your employment verification letter. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B, the I-94 record issued upon entry. The I-94 determines your class of admission and your period of authorized stay. The visa is only for travel, and the I-797 is evidence of petition approval, but the I-94 is what controls your stay duration. Here is your port of entry playbook. First, answer questions clearly and concisely, sticking to the facts. Second, describe your employer, role, and worksite consistently with your petition and LCA. If you are sent to secondary, remain calm and present an organized packet. Offer key documents when requested. Before you leave the airport, check your I-94 online to confirm the class of admission and expiration date. Now, to visualize the journey from check-in to outcome, let's look at a sequence diagram. This sequence diagram depicts the journey from airline check-in through primary inspection and potential secondary inspection. It shows the traveler presenting documents to the airline, undergoing biometrics and questions at primary inspection, and potentially being referred to secondary for deeper review. Secondary verifies documentation and then produces an outcome, such as admission in H-1B, parole, deferred inspection, or refusal. The process concludes with the I-94 being created upon admission. Use this pre-travel timeline to prepare. If your visa stamp is expired and you need a new one, book early. Coordinate with HR or your attorney to confirm whether any H-1B amendments are required for worksite or role changes. Keep pay stubs current and bring several months' worth. If you work at a client site, refresh your client confirmation just before travel. Next, let's reinforce learning with a second quiz. Second quiz. You are abroad with an H-1B extension pending, and your current visa stamp is expired. What is the safest approach? Option A, fly back and request admission with only a receipt. Option B, apply for a new visa after the extension is approved. Option C, enter on ESTA or B2 and start work while waiting. Option D, ask CBP for parole to continue working. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B. If your extension is pending and your visa stamp is expired, the safest approach is to wait for approval and then apply for a new visa before returning. Traveling with only a receipt carries significant risk. Entering on ESTA or B2 does not permit employment, and parole is not a routine solution for this scenario. Here is a practical cheat sheet using a simple script and checklist. First, prepare a clear and consistent 1-minute script that states your employer, job title, and exact worksite. Second, carry your I-797 LCA, recent pay stubs, and a client letter if applicable. Third, after you are admitted, check your I-94 online and confirm your class of admission is H-1B and the expiration matches your approval. If anything appears incorrect, visit a deferred inspection site or contact your attorney immediately. Finally, if you are referred to secondary, remain calm, present an organized packet, and answer only the questions asked. Keep HAR or counsel available to verify your employment if needed. Now, let's consolidate everything with key takeaways. These are the key takeaways. The visa allows travel, but the I-94 controls authorized stay. Consistency with your petition and LCA details is critical. Carry proof of active employment and wages. And expect secondary inspection if there have been changes or gaps. Always verify your I-94 immediately after entry. To wrap up, we covered how CBP evaluates H-1B re-entry, the documents you should carry, and how to answer questions clearly. You practiced with 2 quizzes and learned common pitfalls to avoid. You also gained a pre-travel timeline and a handy cheat sheet to prepare efficiently. Finally, we will thank you for watching and invite you to continue learning with us. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Share your re-entry experiences or questions in the comments so others can learn from them as well. Your engagement helps us create more content to guide travelers through complex processes.